Hello everyone, this is Gautam from Shailaja IAS. Recently, in the monsoon session of the Parliament on August 20th, our beloved and admired Home Minister Amit Shah introduced three new bills which aims to remove Prime Minister, Chief Ministers and Ministers who are in jail for a consecutive period of 30 days. So let us, in a very crisp manner, understand the key features of these bills, the arguments in favor of these bills and the criticisms for these bills. Right? The bills that were introduced were your 130th Constitutional Amendment Bill, which aims to amend Article 75, 164 and 239 AA. Article 75 deals with appointment of Prime Minister by the President. Article 164 deals with appointment of Chief Ministers and Ministers by Governor of the State. Article 239 AA deals with appointment of Chief Minister by Union Territory of Delhi. Right? There was another bill which was introduced called as Government of Union Territories Amendment Bill 2025 that deals with the removal of, you can say, chief ministers in other union territories. And the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganisation Amendment Bill. Idea is the same, but the legislative frameworks are slightly different. Let us understand the key provisions. First thing is, there will be automatic removal of Prime Minister or Minister, Union Home Ministers, Chief Ministers or any other ministers in the state level or at the central level or in the union territories if they are in custody, that is if they are in jail for 30 consecutive days and if they are arrested on a serious charge that has an imprisonment of 5 years or more. Okay, so these are the conditions. If on 31st day the person continues to be in jail, he will be automatically removed. The removal will be done by the President with regard to Prime Minister and Union Ministers, by Governor with regard to Chief Ministers and State Ministers, and Lieutenant Governor with regard to your Union Territories. Now, another feature of the bill is, it is possible that after they are released from the custody, they can be reappointment into that particular post. Current status of these three bills is that they are referred to a joint parliamentary committee. Now, the existing framework that was present before the introduction of these bills was your Representations of People Act 1951, your Section 8, which said that if any sitting minister or a chief minister is convicted of any offence which has an imprisonment term of more than 2 years, then he or she will be automatically dismissed from the post, and after they are released from the jail, they cannot contest an election for the next period of 6 years. I think the example of Shashikala from Tamil Nadu government is well known, where automatically they were removed from the post, right? Now, let us understand the arguments in favor of these three bills that were introduced by the Union government. First argument is that it helps uphold the constitutional morality. Earlier, if there were any allegations on your politicians or leaders, on the moral grounds they used to resign. But nowadays, we have seen chief ministers or ministers continuing to run the government departments even when they are in the jail. You can see the example of your Arvind Kejriwal, chief minister, in his previous stint. Even when he was in jail, he was continuing to run the government for a period of nearly a month. So that does not bode well with regard to upholding of constitutional morality. So the argument that is given is that it helps uphold constitutional morality. Second thing is, most important thing is, it helps cleanse the politics. There's a criminalization of politics where we have seen that nearly 31% of the sitting Lok Sabha, that is 18 Lok Sabha, 31% of the MPs face serious criminal charges. In 2009, during the UPA 1 time period, it was around 14%. There is almost a double with regard to the criminalization of politics. Right? So when we have such kind of deterrent legislations, there is a tendency that it will help clean the political system as a whole. Third thing is, it helps in good governance because it ensures integrity in your public life. Fourth, obviously, there is erosion of public trust on the entire political system. Such kind of bills will help restore the public confidence in the entire political system. It will also give a boost for the youth to come and join into the politics. And the last argument that is in favor is, it fills the existing legal vacuum that was present with regard to how to deal with ministers who have not been convicted but who are in custody for a prolonged period of time. Okay, so these are the arguments that have been given with regard to introduction of these bills. Now, criticism is the core fundamental legal principle in our Indian judiciary is that the person is innocent until proven guilty. So in this case, even if a person is in custody, even if a person is in jail for a consecutive period of 30 days, he has been automatically removed on the 31st day. I think that is more or less telling the person that he is already guilty. So that violates the core principle which forms the bedrock of our, you can say, judicial system or rule of law. Second important thing is political misuse. Okay, the union government through its investigative agencies can, you can say, file some charges on flimsy grounds, and with the ED and your enforcement directorate and your CBI, a person can be arrested where the bail conditions are going to be difficult, and he can be put in jail for 30 days, and that can lead to automatic removal of the ministers, and it can destabilize the state governments. So there is a huge political opposition on the fear that it might be misused on the opposition parties, where a person is arrested on a flimsy ground and put into the jail for a prolonged period of time. And it is also, I can say, against the spirit of federalism itself, because your chief minister is elected under popular sovereignty. It undermines the will of the people if there is an automatical dismissal, especially if the person is not convicted, right? And due process has not been followed. Even before the conviction is taking place, there is some sort of a punishment that has been given by automatic removal from the office. And sometimes the safeguards are not being put into the place, because we have seen in the cases of Prevention of Money Laundering Act or any criminal cases, it is difficult to get a bail. So in such cases, judicial delays can be misused to put the person in the jail and thereby dismiss the particular person. So it might destabilize the government itself. So these are some of the crisp core arguments with regard to this particular bill from a UPSC civil service examination perspective. Now there is a GS2 question associated with it and a GS4 question associated with this particular issue. So let's try and see that. Criminalization of politics is often seen as a symptom of deeper systematic failures in India's electoral and political landscape. That's a statement in itself. In this context, discuss the limitations of judicial intervention in curbing this menace. There are certain judicial safeguards that has been put into the place. With regard to filing of affidavit with the number of criminal charges that has been facing, or the Representation of People Act of 1951, and how judiciary has played a proactive role in Lily Thomas case. So you have to tell what are the merits and demerits of judicial interference with regard to upholding the election's integrity, and what other steps are required to address this issue. Okay, address the issue of criminalization of politics. So that is the question. Second is about the public, GS4 topic. The public is as much to blame as the politicians for the decline in political ethics. Comment. In this context, analyze what factors are contributing to the persistence of unethical practices and criminalization of politics. So they are saying it's not only the fault of politicians to adopt unethical practices, it's also a fault of, you can say, society, whereby they are allowing such kind of practices to go or to continue. Okay, so you can attempt these questions and you can send it to me, where I'll be giving you the feedback. Okay, so that's it. Wish you all the best. If you have any queries, you can contact me on this number.